Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1970-73 Carryover League card set analysis. We've been reviewing the 1970 box, and now we're going to go into a different one. I have the 1971 box. We're going to start with this. We've done some sorting of the available players. Let's kind of like start from the beginning here and just take a look at some of the paperwork that I created with this. I have roster sheet copy. This is an original set of Super Advanced 71. This is actually the original roster sheet too. So you've got 48 additional players in the American League, and in the National League, 48 additional players in the National League, and that's all. There's no nameless cards for this set, so that comes out to exactly, you're adding 96 to the 480 for 576. So the 576 cards, of course, we get our league to 32 teams, 20 per team, which is 640. And so how do you do that? Well, you have to redraft the talent over to 20 per team for 32 teams to 640, which means you have to add cards. And so I actually made a printout and also computed defense E-ratings and made a master sheet of that. And to do that, of course, you have to add from 576, you need to add about 66 extra nameless cards. Oh, I got some extra ones here, even blank ones. So it's nice to know for the future. But we have nameless cards here for those extra 76 players. They've been pulled out already because there's no need to look at them. They don't get drafted into our carryover league. So what we're left with then, this is 1971. This is year 2 of the excuse me, this is 1971. This is year 2, 70, 71, 72, and 73. In year 1, we know that there are 6 players missing per team. And so here, there's 4 players missing per team, which means 128 cards are gone. From the 576 actually printed by Strat-O-Matic means you have about 450, just under 450 cards represented here, stored in these team placeholders. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a look at about half of the American League, and then we'll probably call it, to look at the 4 keepers of each team and see if they look like they're pretty cool cards or not. Let's start with the American League East right here. We'll start with Baltimore. We're going to look at all 4 of the keepers. That means that the team has the rights to keep the player, and they have to choose between the years 70, 71, 72, or 73 to make their selection for the draft. Only 2 players per year. So the 4 players for the Orioles are Frank Robinson, Paul Blair, Mike Cuellar, and Dick Hall. Maximum of 2, minimum of 0. They could like ignore all 4 of these cards and go into finding free agents. But Frank Robinson looks still pretty good. Remember, this is a World Series team. Frank Robinson's defense finally falls a little bit. He was a 2, now he's a 3. And of course, he's getting older, and his average is under 300 for the first time in a bit, under 30 homers for a first time in a bit. Paul Blair, of course, the great defense, but now you're seeing the stick start to wane a little bit, 262. Crazy Horse. His 69 card, of course, was the World Series MVP a couple years ago. Still has that great ability to get righties out. The homers against lefties is a little Disappointing, I guess, but he's a starter 9. So you could very well get this card. Dick Hall, on the other hand, starts to lose it, you see, by 1971. He's no longer capable of being a closer, 502. And those are the 4 Orioles. Next up, it'll be Boston. Boston had a fantastic year, of course, losing in the ALCS to the Tigers. And Reggie Smith, pretty consistent player through this this era from 69 to 71. Nice range and arm in center field. Made a lot of errors. Great batting average. Still 283. Look at that, 30 home runs in Fenway. Don't know how you would get rid of this guy. Jerry Moses, backup catcher to Fisk. Still very productive backup catcher with a bat at least. Hit 227, but there's a lot of homers on the card. It's nice. Petrocelli can no longer play shortstop, but a very capable third baseman here in a full season. 28 homers. Mike Andrews, now his range is gone, but he's an on-base machine. A lot of, look at those walks. A lot of on base. Half a season with 67 walks. So those are nice options for the Red Sox. I have a feeling that the Red Sox and the Orioles, and they're going to be back doing the same bit of damage they just did. The Yankees. All right, so there was a trade. It was a 3-way deal. Boston sent Lyle to Colorado, and then Colorado sent, forget LaHood, I think, to Boston, and then Costco. Yeah, Andy Costco went to Colorado. Sparky Lyle went to the Yankees. He's still not particularly amazing as a closer, but he's a good left-handed pitcher. He's still in Boston in the year of 71, but the Yankees did acquire his rights. So they might actually bump him up to the 72 or 73 Lyle card. All right, Horace Clark loses a little bit on his range there. He's still decent against righties, though. Switch hitter. Does he have any speed? B-stealer, not too bad. Gene Michael loses a little bit on his range. He's a 2 in 1970, so that's worth getting. A 2 at short. The stick is not that great for Michael. And Fritz Peterson. But he already has a great 70 card. 71 card's good too for Fritz. All good options there for the Yankees. Next, the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, not a lot of cards here. Only 2 options of the 4. The other options are in different years as far as keepers go. Mike Lum, a corner outfielder against righties. He's actually got a better 1973 card. This one hits 269, and the Lum card in 73 hits like 289. Great defense. And the guy the AGs are the Blue Jays. Maybe they should change the team name to AGs. The guy they're pinning their future hopes to is a guy acquired by the Mets in the offseason, Tommy Agee. He's got a great 70 card in center field where he's still a 1. And now in the 1970 and 71, he can still do it. 285, he would have still been on the Mets. Mets unfortunately could not keep him. They had too many guys. Can only keep a certain amount. They had to let AG go. So they sent AG to a team that they don't think will damage the Mets that much. Toronto. The strategy is that AG might beat up on the American League East. Orioles, Red Sox, Yankees. All right, let's take another division, and then we'll call it for tonight and pick this up in a future video. We're going to go into the American League North, which really struggled in the past season, starting with the Expos. All right, Ron Fairley has a fun card, a lot of walks. Slick fielding first baseman. His average and power dip a little bit, but he has a high on-base percentage. Another great Rusty Staub card. Great batting average. You're going to find a better Staub against lefties, though. He actually hit left-handed pitching pretty well for a left-handed hitter. That was what he was noted for. Dominates the righties, though. But there'll be a bunch of different choices of years for Staub to decide with. And then only a third keeper. Again, you might not see 4 keepers because the player selected to keep might not have played in the year of 1971. May only have played in 70 or 72 or 73. But we have Gary Wasselski. He was a starter with a 69 card last year. Now he's a pretty capable right-hand reliever. 325. That's not bad, particularly for a an expansion team like the Expos. Not expected to do a whole lot during this time frame. All right, Cleveland. Now, what's really important for Cleveland is, but they could have, all they had to do was finish around 500. They could have won this division. And they couldn't do that. They had the worst record in the American League and have the first pick in the draft. So I wouldn't sleep on these Indians, because if they just don't get into hitting and pitching slumps, they might come back to win this division, get into the playoffs, either as a wild card or division winner. We saw the California Angels go from worst team in baseball to winning the American League West. Cleveland could do it in the American League North. So, there are 4 keepers. Eddie Watt, who they got away from the Orioles, and he's starting to put guys on base, but only with singles. His ERA is still good. .180 ERA in 40 innings. You see the damage is limited to singles, no homers. Homer 1 to 7 fly balls. So that's not bad. You see a lot of them, but because they're just singles and not extra base hits, it's not that bad a gig. Vicente Romo. Pretty cool. Much better than last year. Doesn't put a lot of guys on base, other than walks. Doesn't give up a lot of hits, I should say. Nice little card for him. Duke Sims, this is not his year. He's got a better year in 70 and 72. Both of those years are better than this one. And that's the Indians options. All right, the Detroit Tigers, a team that lost the World Series to the New York Mets. Do they have what it takes to come right back? And it wouldn't take much to repeat as division champions, right? All you have to do is improve upon a 500 record they had a year ago. Fend off pretty much the Cleveland Indians is their goal. You expect the other 2 expansion teams to, kind of wilt a little bit. All right, Dick Mcauliffe. He was actually leading off for the Tigers in the World Series. He'll have a really great 1973 card, as I recall. But here in 71, the power's there, but the on base is not quite as good as it usually is. You see a 208 batting average, but he's got 18 homers. 2 at second base, excellent. But we know he'll be better in one of the other years, 1973. Next player, Northrop. Now he's got a good 70 card. This one, he's dipping a little bit with the batting average. 270. Deceptive looking 270. Looks worse than that, but I guess I guess that could be 270. 75%. He's gone from 300 to 295 to 285 to 270. Not the direction you want it to be going, but this could be a workable card, certainly. All right, Norm Cash. This is one of the comeback guys, I should say. Is he just crushed home runs back to like it was the early 60s again. 32 homers in 71. Played in the All-Star game, which was in Detroit. And this card's better than the 69 card we just used. Excellent card. And Willie Horton. Another great card. This is an outstanding card for Willie Horton. 289 with 22 homers. Let me show you another. I'm going to flip them over because I want to. When you flip them over, you get a list of the active players, and I want to just go to one player in particular, which is Al Kaline. Now, his card is active right now, his 70 card, but I'm considering doing an improvement to this one because it's much better, and we're getting Al Kaline late in his career. These guys aged like fine wine. Guys like Mickey Lolich and Norm Cash and Al Kaline. And this is a heck of a card for a guy who's 36, 37 years old by now. Look at that. 294 with 15 homers. But I really like the on base, the walks. Just something to think about. Remember, you can always improve a guy that you already have on your roster instead of selecting one of the keepers in a particular year. Lastly, and then we'll call it a wrap, it'll be the Ohio team, the players. Okay, now Rudy May is a starter. Look at that. Devastating against lefties. Percentage is very low. Definitely workable. On the rotation, 3.03 ERA. Nice card. Elrod Hendricks is a left-handed hitting catcher with power, always valuable. I haven't computed his arm, but if it's a -1 arm, definitely be worth getting into the league. 250. And a very nice Al Downing, smuggled away from the Dodgers to an expansion team because the Dodgers had like 4 other lefties. They couldn't keep, they had too many lefties. They had Osteen and Tommy John and Jim Brewer. They couldn't afford to keep all these lefties. You're limited to 3 lefties per team. What a year that is for Al Downing. 20-game winner. This might be his best year, and if that is the case, then he would be their first selection in the draft. Very good card. Excellent card. And this team, again, is so bad. They need help everywhere. So they get improvement in the pitching staff. Could be Downing and Rudy May. That would help this team. Again, this division, every team had a losing record. So whoever, just doesn't go into a horrendous slump has a great chance of winning the division. All right, that's it for the first 2 divisions in this. We'll pick this up in a week and move forward to the rest of the American League and see how far we get looking at the 1971 box. All right, thanks for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.